Hello, my awesome fifth graders. Last Friday's assignment was for you guys to go through the slide deck, try the practice problems and watch the videos and read all the slides for one-step equations. So I hope you did that. Today's lesson will be a little easier for you if you did that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to solve all of these equations for x. So an equation has an equal sign, and if you are ever given an equal sign and a value, that means you can figure out what the value of x is. So to solve equations, we always do the opposite operation of what is happening to our variable. So right now I see that 15 is being added to x. So the opposite of plus 15 is subtract 15. So we're going to do that on both sides of the equal sign. All right, so 15 minus 15 is 0. So what we're left with is x equals, and 12 minus 15 is -3. So with equations, you can always check your answer. If x is -3, does -3 plus 15 equal 12? Yes, that's true. So we know our answer is correct. All right, number 2, always find your variable first. So my variable's on the left side of the equal sign. And what is being done to x? 6 is being added to x. So what is the opposite of plus 6? The opposite of plus 6 is -6. And with equations, you write everything twice. So 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm left with x, bring down my equal sign, and now I'm combining -10 combined with -6, or -10 minus 6 is -16. So to check our answer, we plug back in -16 for x. So does -16 plus 6 equal -10? Why, yes, it does. Number 3, find your variable. I see plus 2. We're going to think, what is the opposite of plus 2? The opposite of plus 2 is -2. Right, everything twice. So 2 minus 2 is 0. I bring down my x, my equal sign, and 7 minus 2 is 5. And if I plug it back in, we know that 5 plus 2 is 7. Absolutely. All right, let me erase some of this, all of this stuff actually. All right, so number 4, hold on, let me scoot my face out of the way. All right, so number 4, you find your variable first. And I know that we are adding -6 to it. So what you want to do is think, how do I get rid of whatever is on the side with the variable? Well, the only way to get rid of a -6, to get it down to 0, we're going to add 6. So we're going to try to cancel out whatever's on the side with the variable. So -6 plus 6 is 0. So I'm left with x. That's what I wanted. And now I have 14 plus 6. 14 plus 6 is 20. If I plug in 20 for x, -6 plus 20 is in fact 14. So my answer is correct. Number 5, you find the variable. This time my variable is on the right side of the equal sign. And what is being done to the variable? I see x minus 13. What is the opposite of -13? That would be plus 13. So you always find the variable. That's what you're doing the opposite. Whatever's being done to our variable, we got to get rid of that. So that's gone. I bring down my x, I bring down equals, and now I'm adding 21 plus 13, and I get 34. If I took my calculator and I said 34 minus 13, it would in fact equal 21. That's correct. Now, number 6, there's something to do before we start getting rid of things. We're always, anytime you have a minus and negative right beside each other, we know we do bam, bam, right? So I'm going to rewrite this before I try to cancel anything out. So I'm going to think with my pencil, bam, bam. So really, I'm going to rewrite this, x plus 3 equals 2. Now I'm going to do the opposite of plus 3, which is -3. So now I have x by itself equals 2 minus 3 is -1. All right, so I did those with you guys, 1 through 6 here. I want you guys to pause the video and I want you guys to see if you can do these 9 problems on your own and then come back to the video and check your answers. All right, number 6, we want to get rid of +3. So x plus 3, I'm going to write -3. I'm going to write it twice, everything twice. So this is gone. I have x equals, now think, if you owe one person $3 and another person $3, how much debt are you in? You're in $6 of debt. All right, so -3 combined with -3, or -3 minus 3 is -6. All right, number 7, did you find your variable? Well, how do you cancel what's on the side with the variable? How do you cancel out this -8? What's the opposite of -8? It would be +8, +8, okay? The only way to cancel out that net -8 is to add 8. We've got to do everything twice. I bring down my x equals, and 14 plus 8 would be what, 22, I believe? Yes, I think it's right. Number 8, I hope you rewrote this before you try to cancel anything out. So we're going to rewrite it, w plus 2 equals 1. Then we're going to do the opposite of +2, which is -2. So then I have w equals -1. Number 9, how do I get rid of +4? I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Bring down that m, bring down the equal sign, and 2 minus 4 is -2. Number 10, how do I get rid of, or what's the opposite of k minus 8? The opposite of -8 is +8, so I'm going to put +8 on both sides. So my 8s are gone. Bring down k, bring down equals, and -15 combined with +8 is -7. Number 11, how do I get rid of, or what's the opposite of +7? That would be -7 on both sides. So n is equal to -4. Number 12, let's see what this is. It says y minus 10 equals -4. So what's being done to y? It says y minus 10. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. +10 plus 10. So y is equal to +6. 10 minus 4 is 6. Number 13, I have to get rid of this +11. It is sharing the side with my variable. You always want to cancel what's on the side with your variable. So how do I get rid of a +11? I want to subtract 11 from both sides. So x is equal to 4. And then finally 14, the opposite of +12. I'm going to subtract 12. So P is equal to -8. How did you guys do? Good, I hope. All right, so then later this week, oh, we're still going. I'm sorry, I thought we were doing 2 steps yet, but we're not. All right, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So look at number 1. What is being done to the variable? Well, it's being multiplied by 5. So what is the opposite of times 5? That is dividing by 5. We're going to divide both sides of the equal sign by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 1 times x is x, equals -25 divided by 5 is -5. Now, if I plugged in -5 for x, I would have 5 times -5, and that is -25, and I know that's true. So my answer is right. Now look at number 2. This says x is being divided by -2. What is the opposite of dividing? The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. Well, basically those -2's would cancel each other out. I'd be left with 1 times x, which is x. X equals, and -20 times -2 is +40. And then if I plugged in +40 in for x, does 40 divided by -2 equal -20? Is that true? It is. Number 3, find your variable. What's being done with x? It's being multiplied by -6. So the opposite of times -6 is divided by -6. I'm dividing both sides by -6. I would get x is equal to -6. Does -6 times -6 equal positive 36? Yes. Number 4, here's my variable. What's happening to my variable is being divided by 3. I'm going to do the opposite of divided by 3, which is times 3. So those 3's make each other go away, or I get 1. 1 times x is x, and 3 times 6 is 18. So if I plug it in, does 18 divided by 3 equal 6? Yes. Number 5, what's happening to my x? It's being multiplied by -4. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide both sides by -4. So x is equal to positive 7. And number 6, x divided by 5. What's the opposite of divided by 5? Times 5. So my 5's cancel, and x is equal to 75. All right, so I did those. I want you guys to pause the video. I want you guys to try these 9 problems on your own and then come back to the video. All righty, let's start with 15. Did you guys divide both sides by -5? I hope you did. And you would get -4. X is -4. Number 16, you should have divided both sides by +3. So x is equal to -7. Number 17, the opposite of times -6. I'm sorry, yeah, is divided by -6. So if I divide both sides by -6, a negative divided by a negative is positive, +3. Number 18, the opposite of divided by 2 is times 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, and x equals 8. Number 19, the opposite of divided by -3 is times -3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -3, and I get -5 times -3 is positive 15. Number 20, x divided by 8. That means I'm going to multiply both sides by 8, and x is 88. All right, so we can't move this box or whatever. There we go. Oh, now look at number 1. This is a good one, or 21, excuse me. What times x equals -x? Well, it's -1. If you don't see a number, that looks terrible. It's really saying -1 times x. -1 times x is -x. So how do I get rid of times -1? I have to divide both sides by -1. So positive x is going to be equal to -4. And look what we started with. If negative x equals positive 4, then that makes sense that positive x would equal -4. Number 16, what divided by 6 is 18? What's the opposite of dividing by 6? We're going to multiply by 6. And what would that be, guys? I don't know. 108? Is that right? 108? I think I'm right. Yeah, pretty sure. All right, and then what's the opposite of times -2? Divided both sides by -2. I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so you can either leave your answer as 11/2, or you could say 5.5 or 5.5. Any of those answers are correct. All right, how we doing? How we doing, guys and gals? All right, so now later on in the week, you have a 2-step equation slide deck, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some problems with you. You guys are smart, you'll get this fast, I'm sure. So the ones we've done so far are 1-step equations. Now we're going on to 2-step equations, okay? So if you were solving a problem like this, 3 + 4 times 6 divided by 1, I don't know. There's an order to the operation that you do, right? You would have to multiply first, divide next, and the last thing you would do is add 3. Well, when they put a equal sign on there and throw in a variable, we already know what this expression equals. So to solve for x, we have to do the opposite operation, order of operation. Okay, so since normally we multiply and divide first, add and subtract last, When we're solving equations, we're going to do the opposite order of operations. So we are going to take care of adding and subtracting first, multiplying and dividing last. All right, so on number 1, first thing you do is you find your variable. So I have to get rid of times 4 and plus 7. So we're always going to start with adding and subtracting when we're solving equations. So since I see plus 7, we're going to do the opposite of adding 7, which is first we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. So 7 minus 7 is 0. That's gone. I bring down my 4x equals 27 minus 7 is 20. And now we're going to get rid of the times 4. The opposite of times 4 is to divide both sides by 4. So x is equal to 5. Number 2, do you see a plus or minus? Yes. We're going to start with the opposite of plus 15, which is minus 15. So we subtract 15 first from both sides. The 15s are gone, so I bring down x divided by 6 is equal to 20 minus 15 is 5. What's the opposite of divided by 6? That means we're going to multiply both sides by 6, and 5 times 6 is 30. And just like before, I should have done it on number 1. You can always check your answers. If x is 30, let's plug it in. 30 divided by 6 plus 15. Well, 30 divided by 6 is 5, and 5 plus 15 is 20. So that value makes our answer correct. Number 19, I do see a minus 4, but that minus really belongs to my 4, which is going to, you can think of it as a negative 4, right? So I still want to get rid of this positive 19 first. And the reason I'm starting there is because the reason I get rid of a positive 19, it makes me subtract 19. We're going to subtract 19 from both sides, okay? You want to get rid of everything that's on the side with the variable. The whole goal with equations is isolating the variable. So 19 minus 19 is 0. I bring down negative 4x. You cannot forget that minus sign. It belongs to the 4. And then a negative combined with a negative, we're actually going to add, and we get negative 40. And now we're going to do the opposite of times negative 4, which we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So x is equal to positive 10. Positive 10. If you plug in positive 10 for x, we're going to get the right answer. All right, let me erase. All right, now we're going to do 4 through 6. Now on number 4, before we can start eliminating anything, we must use the distributive property. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 22 is 44. And now we're going to solve for x by getting rid of plus 44. I'm going to subtract 44 from both sides. 44s are gone. 2x is equal to, so what is that? 12 minus 4 is 8, and this would be a 6 minus 4 is 2, right? And then the opposite of times 2, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get 14. 14. So if I plug in 14, 14 plus 22, 14 plus 22 is 36, and 36 times 2 is in fact 72. So I know my answer is right. All right, number 5, I told you that we have to add and subtract before we multiply and divide, and that's true. However, when it's written like this, that plus symbol is forcing x and 6 to stay together. We can't subtract 6 when we got to get it out of the denominator. So the first thing we're going to do, so look at what's happening. 77 is being divided by x plus 6. So what is the opposite of dividing by x plus 6? Multiplying by x plus 6. That stays together until we get it out of the denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides by x plus 6. All right, so on the right side, this and this cancel each other out. So we're left with just 77. And on the left side of the equal sign, we have to distribute that 7. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 6 is 42. Now we got this out of the denominator, okay? And now nothing's stuck together anymore because there's nothing in the denominator. So I'm going to solve for x by getting rid of plus 42 by subtracting 42 from both sides. So I have 7x is equal to what, 35? Yep. And then the opposite of 7 times 7, I'm going to divide both sides by 7. So x is equal to 5. X is equal to 5. Okay. All right. Now on number 6, let me get rid of all this stuff. Number 6, you can do one of two things. You can go ahead and distribute a fifth. You could say, what is a fifth of 5x and what is a fifth of 12? Well, a fifth of 12 is not a whole number. So the other thing you can do is just get rid of this fraction. So how do I make, what do I multiply a fraction by to make it equal 1? What would I multiply 1/2 by to make it equal 1? Well, if you multiply it by its reciprocal, that means if you flip it upside down, this would equal 1. Okay, so what would I multiply 6 by to equal 1? Well, 6 over 1, if I flipped it, I would get 1, right? So basically, if you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, it goes away. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I want to get rid of 1/5. I don't like fractions, so I want to make that equal only 1. So I'm going to multiply it by its reciprocal. I'm going to multiply 1/5 by 5 over 1. So 5 over 1 times 1/5 equals 1. But since to make everything the same value, we must multiply the other side of the equal sign by the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5. All right, that cancels. So I don't have anything to distribute now. 5x plus 12 equals 18 times 5. That would be 40. 5 plus 4 is 9. 90. Right? Yes. All right, so now what do? I want to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. So I get 5x is equal to 78. And the last thing I do is divide by 5. So x is equal to 78 fifths. Or how many times would 5 go into 75? 1. 15. So, or I could say 15 3/5 or 15.6. All of those are equal. All of these are equal. Okay. So any of those answers are good. All right. Let me get, so those are two of the more challenging problems, 5 and 6. All right, so then let's do these 4, and then you guys are going to try all the problems on the next slide on your own, and then come back and check your answers. So for number 7, we're going to subtract 25 from both sides. So we have negative 7x is equal to 23. And then when I divide by negative 7, I get x is equal to negative 23 over 7. Or you could say negative 3 2/7, right? We like these when they come out as whole numbers better. That makes us feel better about our answers, right? Okay, I think that's right though. I didn't make any mistakes as far as I can tell. All right, number 8. So just like earlier when this was stuck together as a denominator, well, it's stuck together as the numerator. So the only way to get this out of that fraction is to get rid of the denominator. So the first thing I have to do is get rid of the denominator. So what's the opposite of divided by 4? The first thing I'm going to do to both sides of the equal sign is times 4. So these cancel. So I'll bring down x plus 5 equals 14 times 4 is 56. And then I'm going to take away 5 from both sides. So x equals 51. Number 9, first thing I'm going to get rid of is minus 13 by adding 13 to both sides. So I bring down negative 7x is equal to negative 21. And then when I divide both sides by negative 7, I get x is equal to positive 3. All right, now 10, if you notice, I do have like terms on the right side. So before I start canceling, I am going to combine my like terms. So 4x minus 1x is 3x. So I'm going to rewrite this, 3x minus 9. All right, now I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and I'm out of room, so I'm going to come over here. 21 plus 9 is 30, and my 9's canceled, so I get 3x. When I divide both sides by 3, I get x equals 10. All right. Now, I want you guys to practice. I want you to do all of these on your own, and then come back to the video and check your answers.